Only in Louisville could a mayor be so obsessed with quality that he personally cashed the very bills that rang for every fire, every church service, and every funeral in the city, and then had to run that same city while it was literally an armed camp for the Union Army. Hi, I'm Michael, and I'm learning about every Louisville mayor in order, because why not? Our 13th person to hold the office was William Kaye. He served from 1863 to 1865, right in the heart of the Civil War. Kaye was an English immigrant and a master machinist who moved to Louisville in 1836. He built a massive brass and bell foundry at 2nd and Water Streets, and he became the sound of Louisville. If you heard a bell in the 1850s, whether it was on a steamboat, a firehouse, or a school, chances are it was a Kaye bell. He was an industrialist who spent decades building the city's physical infrastructure before he ever stepped foot into the mayor's office. In 1863, Kaye ran for mayor as a Democrat and won a tight race against the former mayor Thomas H. Crawford by just 710 votes. But winning the election was the easy part. Managing Louisville in 1863 was a nightmare. At this point in the war, Louisville was the massive logistics and medical hub for the entire western theater of the Union Army. So the city was overflowing with soldiers, refugees, and hospitals. Kaye had to navigate a city where the civilian government was constantly being stepped on by military authority. The tension hit a breaking point in July 1864. A massive fire leveled 10 buildings, causing over $1 million in damage. And because so much of that was actually federal government property, the military actually didn't think it was much of an accident. They arrested the fire chief and 39 other citizens, labeling them as Southern sympathizers, and they were shipped off to a federal prison. Kaye had to lead a city where a simple house fire could turn into a treason investigation in a matter of hours. Despite the chaos, Kaye was a stabilizer. He worked with the U.S. Sanitary Commission to manage the thousands of wounded soldiers flooding into city hospitals, turning Louisville into a sanctuary in the middle of a war zone. Kaye left office in 1865 just as the war was ending. He went back to his foundry and lived to be 77, eventually being buried at Kayville Cemetery. To this day, if you look at the inscriptions on the historic bells of Louisville, you might still see his name cast in the bronze. So, that's William Kaye. See you after the next election.